Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends mini comic Wave 2, The Astonishing X-Men's Beast. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today, let's kick off this second wave of Marvel Legends mini comics. As in front of us, we have the Astonishing X-Men's Beast, aka Cat Beast, aka Feline Beast, whatever you want to call him. There is actually a story element to why Beast now looks like this, as he went through his second mutation in the new X-Men. And I will explain all, but it's technically the second time we have got this version of Beast in the Marvel Legends line, as 16 years ago, in 2009, we had this version of Beast in the Nemesis Build-A-Figure wave. But this is absolutely a worthy update. I'm really glad he comes with the alternative head sculpt as well. We get some extra hands down there, and of course the mini comics. And although I'm not a fan of the gimmick, I am very much a fan of the character selection in these waves so far, and I'm always happy to add another Beast to the collection. So there he is in the packaging, looking great. On the back of the box we get the other 6 figures in this wave, the comics, and a write-up that says, in Astonishing X-Men, Beast wrestles with the decision to use a newly developed cure for the mutant gene on himself. So without further ado, let's get my boy Beast open. Here we have Hank McCoy out of the packaging with his few accessories on the table. We've got the mini comic, the alternative neutral expression, and a couple of extra hands. And you guys know I love Beast, so I had high hopes for this one, and first impressions do not disappoint. The texture of the fur looks really good. The blue pops against the yellow pops against the black. The head sculpts look really nice, and he seems to have all the articulation in the right places. An absolutely worthy upgrade compared to the previous version that we'll check out in a moment. But first, like I mentioned, this isn't just a design choice. There is actually a story element in Grant Morrison's new X-Men where Beast went through a second mutation that made him more feline-like, and that's what this Beast is. But this figure is actually the artwork of John Cassaday in Josh Whedon's The Astonishing X-Men brought to life, and it looks amazing, especially when you compare it to the previous version of 16 years ago. This looks like Beast's little brother. So yes, this is absolutely a worthy upgrade. There is no question about it. Fight me in the comments, but yeah, this is much better. The new version looks a lot taller, as we can see. Let me get the tape measure out so we can see he stands at probably about 6 3/4 inches. The previous one barely hit 6 inches. So yeah, a nice decent height between them, but proportionately he looks better as well. Articulation wise, he's going to look better. The head sculpts are better. I'll come back and do a better comparison shortly, but like I mentioned, the head sculpts are really nice. So let's take a closer look. The first head sculpt is a lot more expressive, battle ready if you will, with the mouth open, snarling, teeth on show with those sharp fangs, and you can even see the gums and the inside of his mouth as well. But I really like the way his yellow eyes are piercing through the thick blue fur, and there's even a little bit of green in there as well, and there's definitely some shadowing and some shading around the eyes and around the jaw as well to give a bit of contrast with the blues. But I like, it looks like a lion's mane, doesn't it? Like a thick blue furry beard that goes all the way around his head. But yeah, I really like the wrinkles, the sort of angry expression as well for this head sculpt. It's nice to have some options on the shelf. You can see his ears sort of peeking through up top as well. So yeah, again, I like the shadows that they've added around the eyes and mouth. It really makes the other colours really pop against the blue fur. And if we spin it all the way around, you can see there's lots of room there at the back for articulation, as the head is on a disc and hinge, so you can get the head looking really far up. No complaints with that one. You can also get him looking down pretty well. Of course, you have your swivel like usual, and a little bit of tilt on there as well, which always adds character. But yeah, this first head sculpt is really good. Saying all that, I really like the alternative head sculpt as well, which is a more neutral expression. This time the mouth is closed, but it has those same design elements with the darkness around the eyes that really makes the yellow eyes pierce through the blue with a sliver of green. There's some nice shading around the nose and the jaw, and really nice sculpt of that blue furry mane around the head as well. Honestly, it's going to be really hard to sort of decide which head sculpt we're going to use. I really like how the shadows sort of highlight those feline features of the face. You can even see the ears poking through up top as well. And because of the gap at the top of the head, you're going to have that same articulation range as well. So let's just compare this head sculpt to the very first version we got 16 years ago, just so you can see the difference in design. There is no doubt in my mind that the new one is better for sure. And it's going to be hard to decide which head sculpt you use on your display, because both the neutral expression and the angry expression are really, really nice. I'm going to have to get a second one because I can't decide. You let me know in the comments which head sculpt's better, neutral or angry. Now, I know people are eager to see the range and articulation on this guy, but before we get there, let's just take a look at the additional details on the sculpt, because it is really nice. All of this blue fur is sculpted to touch. Even on the butterfly joints here, they've sculpted blue fur. On the double jointed pinless arms, by the way, on the back, on the front, on the torso, down to the legs, even with the toe hinge, all that blue fur is sculpted really, really nice. And my only sort of minor gripe is I wish they had added some type of dark wash, whether it be a black or a dark blue, to really make that sculpt pop, because there's no doubt that the sculpt is there. And it does create some natural shadows under the lights, especially under the head. It looks like there's some shading, but it's just the shadows. So yeah, the sculpt is really nice, just lacks that tiny bit of shading, but it still looks really good as is. There we get a look at the double jointed pinless elbows. I love that the fur as well overlaps the sort of gauntlets on the wrists to give it that little bit more texture and a little bit more dimension. And yeah, just really, really solid. So if I zoom out, we get the blue pops really nicely against the yellow. The yellow costume is in that sort of X shape across the front. And then you get the legs double jointed and pinless as well, by the way. And then down, you still get some furry legs poking out. They sort of look like blue furry boots, don't they? There isn't a swivel there. It looks like the perfect place for a swivel, but there is no swivel where the blue reaches the trousers. But we do get the double jointed pinless knee, which isn't bad considering how thick his thighs and his calves are there as well. But you get a really nice ankle pivot and rocker, of course, with the toe hinges as well. So the legs go pretty far forward as well. Like, look at that, that's 90, and then out pretty far as well. So yeah, I think the leg range is pretty good. And I like how the costume design sort of naturally creates this sort of cut where the ball joint is up top. So that's where you're going to get your tilt and your swivel, at this ball joint at the top of the diaphragm. But just like the Spider-Man bodies and others, we've got the crunch down here at the waist. So you combine that all together and you can crunch him forward really nicely and get him leaning back doing the limbo, no problem at all as well. So yeah, that's where all your range is, at that torso rock out up top. The arms will go all the way up to 90. You've got the bicep swivel and a decent range on the double jointed pinless elbow due to how thick his sort of biceps and forearms are. Of course, their hands have the hinge in there, and there's a swivel very nicely at the cut of the gloves. And then the butterfly joint obviously isn't as deep on the front, as they didn't want to break up the aesthetics of the torso, which I understand, but they don't mind it digging in a little bit deeper on the back, as most people display their figures like this. So when it comes to the butterfly joints, going forward, not so much, but going back, plenty, like plenty, which will help with those leaping and jumping poses. Like, look at that, no problem there. So yeah, that's your range on the butterfly. Really nicely done. And again, aesthetically, it looks good as well. I do think they've sort of found the balance here of aesthetics and articulation really well. And I don't really have much to complain about. Beast is my boy anyway, and this is a solid representation of this version of Beast. And I'm no Jay Hernandez, but this guy is really fun to pose. And if you know what you're doing, you're going to have a lot of fun with this guy, getting him posed up on your display for pictures or photography. There's a thigh cut as well, which I forgot to mention. But yeah, the range on all the cuts of articulation is really good, considering how thick and chunky the body is, as well as having the fur texture on there as well. So yeah, really, really like this. In regards to accessories, he does have one full set of hands, and that's these grabby claw hands, if you will, which work really well for the sort of angry expression, of course. But we also get one fisted hand and then a more tighter grip with those claws. So obviously he can hold that mini comic he comes with. So unfortunately, he doesn't have a full set of fisted hands, which is a minor disappointment of this figure. So yes, I would have definitely have liked a full set of fists for my Beast. And talking of that comic, let's check it out. Now, we all have an opinion on the mini comic gimmick, so I'm not here to debate that. You can think what you want. I'm just showing you what we get. And I believe this is the Astonishing X-Men saga, which is the first 12 issues in one book. That's why on the front of this, you actually get Wolverine reading Astonishing X-Men Volume 1, I believe. So yeah, you would have thought we would have got Astonishing X-Men 1, but instead we get this Saga issue, which is an odd choice, but maybe they just like the design. So on the front we get that, which again, the print is nice for the size of these things, but it is just a piece of plastic. And then on the back you get the logo with the Hasbro logo, etc. So yeah, it is what it is, but as we've seen, Beast does come with a hand to hold it. There you go. Even Beast isn't happy reading the mini comics, but he will hold it, no problem at all. It even passes the earthquake test. It will not fall out of the hand. So yeah, you can get Beast reading, as Beast does like reading, of course, or you can spin it around and just get him posing, holding the comic on a display, which I know some people actually like doing. So yeah, it's a gimmick. So here we have one more comparison with the previous released version of Astonishing Beast. Remember, 16 years in the making. This one was one of the early Hasbro releases, so I genuinely think this is one of the best Hasbro upgrades we have gotten in the Marvel Legends line. Yeah, it is night and day, absolutely. So there we go, all the way around. As you can see, the other Beast always stood a little bit awkwardly, but yeah, the new one, it's just so much better, people. So much better. Double jointed, pinless knees and elbows. The furry texture's much better. The head sculpts are really nice, and you have options. So yeah, don't get me wrong, I always appreciate having this one, but yeah, there's no doubts in my mind that the new Beast is astonishing. So here we have the recent versions of Astonishing Cyclops and Astonishing Wolverine, and these three look really good together, and I just put them in height order, as Beast is taller than Cyclops, as he should be, and Cyclops is taller than Wolverine, as he should be. So I do think the scale here is actually really good, especially when you're going to pose them up as a team on the shelf. So I'm liking that. And of course we also have an Astonishing Emma Frost, but she's wearing all white, so she's probably going to fade away in the white background. But yeah, these are all the recent releases from Hasbro that represent the astonishing era of X-Men, which a lot of people really like, and there's no doubt that the artwork and the designs in that book were really, really good as well. So yeah, we just need 2 more members now to complete the team in their particular looks. And even though we don't have their accurate astonishing looks, we do have them. And I'm sorry, Rich, but Kitty Pryde was actually a member of the Astonishing X-Men. She was one of those that Cyclops recruited early on. And the costume that we actually have in the Legends line is very similar. Like, it is close to what she wore in Astonishing X-Men, but it isn't quite accurate. And this could do with an upgrade anyway. This is from years ago, probably a decade ago now, in the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave, I think. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me. But it can be a placeholder in your Astonishing X-Men team, and it doesn't look too out of place, even though she is far too tall on that body. And talking of tall, spoiler alert, but later on in the comics, they did bring back Colossus, and he did obviously team up and join the Astonishing X-Men team. So Kitty Pryde and Colossus are the last 2 members of the Astonishing X-Men team that we need to look at. And ignore the posing, but I thought I'd quickly try and recreate a particular cover, but it's very difficult when Kitty Pryde is way out of scale. Emma's got that stupid cape and the stupid heels, so it's really difficult to stand. And Colossus is, of course, wearing the wrong costume as well. So yes, a new Kitty and Colossus is needed. And one last look at a potential future 2-pack, maybe. In regards to our blue beasts from the modern Hasbro era, this is what we have. We have our 2019 Caliban Build-A-Figure wave beast that has some of the darker shading on his fur. I never quite liked the head sculpt, but it does remind me of that issue 1 of X-Men in the early 90s. And then we had the orange carded lab coat version of Beast, which had a different head sculpt but a lighter shade of blue, and it's still not quite right. Like, they're not terrible head sculpts by any means, but go and check out my video on the channel where I upgraded mine with some Daisho Creations head sculpts, which really do make a difference. So yeah, this is what we have so far, but we absolutely need an upgraded blue Beast for X-Men 97, pinless tech to match the aesthetic of the other figures. He is literally the missing piece to that X-Men 97 team at the moment. So yeah, if I move Lab Coat Beast out of the way, this is what we basically have for Blue Beast. We have 90s Beast and 2000s Beast. So this is first mutation, second mutation. Let's have a Blue Beast party, shall we? I didn't realise how many versions of Astonishing X-Men Beast I have, as I've also got the Mini-Mates and the Marvel Unlimited. I've also got the other Marvel Unlimited Beast here in the 3 3/4 inch scale. I've got a Lego, a movie Mini-Mates. I've got the McFarlane statue from X-Men #1. I've got the original Toy Biz over there as well. And I've also got another Marvel Legend with the Anthony Customs animated accurate head sculpt on. So I still think Hasbro need to give us an X-Men 97 pinless blue beast with an accurate head sculpt. But until then, I've got plenty on the table. I'm thinking about backtracking and creating like a blue cube of all the beasts that have ever been released. So I still know there's lots out there that predate Marvel Legends. So if I'm missing any, which I know I am, let me know in the comments which one I need to backtrack on. But a lot of blue on the table. And for the record, I think this is stupid, but there's always somebody in the comments that wants to see a head swap. So here we have the Astonishing X-Men Beast and the previous Beast head swapped. And as you can see, it is terribly inaccurate. The blues don't match and it doesn't look good. Don't do this. And moving away from Blue Beast, here we have the couple of grey beasts we have in our Marvel Legends collection. We've got Dark Beast from Age of Apocalypse, who does eventually find his way to the 616. And then we have the very first appearance of Beast, essentially, as Beast was originally grey before he went to blue fur. It was definitely something to do with the ink in the comics or something or other. But anyway, this isn't inaccurate by any means, and it's on the alternative orange card back. Here we have Beast next to a couple of characters from the first wave of mini comics with Adam Warlock and Ultimate Iron Man. And for good measure, here we have Daken and dodgy hipped Miles. For a couple of bigger characters, here we have She-Hulk and the Maximum Series Hulk. And for some villains, here we have Doctor Doom and Thanos from the Gamerverse line. For some Avengers, here we have the Secret Wars Captain America and Iron Man. We also have the 20th Captain America and the Extremis Armor Iron Man. Here you have the Maximum Series Spider-Man and then the Renew Your Vows. Here we have Black Widow and Deadpool. And as always, let's wrap up with some of the Who crew. We've got Frogman, Tigra and Jeff. And then last but never least, we've got Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends mini comic wave 2, the Astonishing X-Men's Beast. Now, whether you like the Astonishing X-Men story or even this feline look for Beast, I don't think anybody can deny this isn't a solid representation of that John Cassaday art brought to life in plastic in our Marvel Legends collection. This is honestly really, really nice. Again, the only gripes are minor details like missing the extra fisted hand and maybe some extra shading on that blue fur. But otherwise, the sculpt is there. We get both great head sculpts. The articulation works really well considering how furry and chunky the proportions are. He's completely pinless. I think people are going to like this one, especially if you are trying to complete an accurate looking Astonishing X-Men team. This definitely takes us one step closer and is a massive upgrade compared to that really hard to get actually on the aftermarket other version of Astonishing Beast. It looks like his little brother. So we just need an updated version in accurate costumes of Kitty and Colossus. Time will tell, but you let me know what you think of this Beast in the comments below. What other versions of Beast would you like in the Marvel Legends line? I know Beast right now in the comics has that more gorilla style version of his transformation, so again, that would be cool to see one day. But you let me know, as always, in the comments below, and if you like Marvel Legends, then well, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please, 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 hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much, much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on X at Dan Who Reviews. And as always, my name is Dan W. Let me know in the comments below, who would you like to see a review for next in this mini comic wave? Whether you're watching in the past, present or future, there's always a playlist. And I will see you on the next one.